What's up? How's everybody doing tonight? Episode number 101. Hopefully everybody's doing well and had a great week. Welcome to another Friday night party. Where the heck? There's my mouse. There's the mouse. Like, where the heck's my mouse? All right. Hopefully everybody's doing well tonight. Let's see who we got up in here. We got Mr. Brian Chambers. We got Snow Valley Park. Mr. Greg Rowland. Brian Chambers again. Victor Shamulus. What's up? Jeff in Lower Alabama. How you doing? Mr. Jeff Toohey. Craig Beaven. What is happening? Jerry Wilfong. Good to see you tonight. Mike SSI. Always good to see you in the show. Nate Defrost. Airvexed RC. What is happening? Michael Bear. What is up? Just getting back from the Dollar Tree. I don't know why that's so funny, but it is. David yourself, what's up? Mark M. Scott Settle, Mike Noland. We got us a good crowd in here. How y'all doing? It's good to see everybody. All right. So, tonight, I might have something special to show y'all. Special. Gooniac, what's up, man? Yeah, the Dollar Tree raised the prices, man. China's killing us. They raised the prices by 25%. Hey, listen, you know, all these other places raising the prices by like 7%, 10%, 15%. Man, people think like, oh, the Dollar Tree only raised the prices by a quarter. That's a 25% price hike, dude. That's steep. 25%. Not even like Horizon raised their prices by 25%. And you know they love their money. All right. So Scott Settle asked how the Van Halen P5152 is going. And I mean, it's still going about the same. I still have like the frame of the bottom of the wing. I got the ribs in, most of the ribs. I still have to do the innermost rib, and that's where the dihedral offset goes. So, but the reason that I haven't built this wing yet is I ran out of balsa panels, like balsa planks. I had to get more. And the size that I needed, they didn't have it at Hobbytown. They didn't have it at Hobbytown. They didn't have it at Hobby Lobby. So I had to source some 1/16 inch balsa planks, and we're going to be flying this thing at the Bigfoot show in like 2027. I had to order some balsa planks, and they showed up today. So what's going to be interesting is I do have one more from the kit, and it doesn't really smell anymore, right? Like I wanted it to smell like fresh wood. So I found a place up in Massachusetts called the National Balsa Company. And I don't know if you guys had National, or if anyone's ever used National Balsa, for all you guys that do balsa builds, but this was the first time. I mean, it's the first balsa plane I've ever made, right? So I don't know. I found a place that had the balsa planks that I need, but in doing some research, it's actually a mill. So they get like balsa trunks shipped up to them from like somewhere in the Central America, Nicaragua, wherever balsa grows. And I decided to give it a shot. So for less than $1 a plank, I got 30 planks of 1/16 by what is this? 1/16 by 3-inch by 2-foot planks. Yes, the balsa rainforest. I didn't try SIG. You know, I found this online and was like, hey man, I'll give it a go. Let's see what's up. So yeah, this place like sources the big, tree material and mills it right in Massachusetts. They pack it up in this box really well. Yeah, so for like less than $1 a plank, I got 30 planks of 1/16 inch balsa, and I'm like kind of excited a little bit because I'm curious to see, is there like a big difference between, balsa that was freshly milled versus the balsa that's been sitting in a box for Lord knows how long. Something I'll tell you right out of the gate is that I can see that these here balsa planks, oh yeah, this smells like fresh wood. And y'all know how much I love to put wood up near my nose. Excuse me. All right. So these are pretty dang nice. Oh, how cool is that? So on the end cap, so they sent me 30 pieces of balsa, right? And I bet if I count them, I'm going to be kind of surprised. So on the end caps, they actually capped it off with a couple of thicker pieces, like 1/8 inch. Where the heck's my dang caliper? I got to bust out my caliper and see how big this is. So I got 32 sheets of balsa. Yeah. So on each end, rather than putting the 1/16 balsa in the box because it's like thin and fragile, right? They capped each side of it with two like 1/8 inch pieces of what is probably basswood. The grain is way too closed, to be balsa. So this is probably basswood. So that is super cool to do. You know, they basically give you a couple sheets of wood for free. Yep, so here is a piece of brand new, freshly milled balsa, and I'm gonna do a little, I'm gonna measure it, you know, just to let y'all know whether or not National Balsa is a reputable company. Exactly 1/16 in thickness, and they're supposed to be 3-inch planks. So let's open up the caliper. Oh yeah, exactly 3 inches in width, and I just have to assume, you know, based on the accuracy of the thickness and the width, that's exactly 24 inches long. I mean, this is a good looking, that's a good looking piece of wood, right, y'all? It's not chewed up on the ends, you know, from the milling process. This looks great. Now here's an old piece of balsa that was in the kit, you know, where the sides are a little raggedy. The ends, you can see where they cut it with the saw blades. You know, it's just not a very clean cut on the ends. And this is the old piece, and this is the new piece. And y'all can't see it close up, and that's all right. But, yeah, the new one, I mean, they're both cut really straight. But the new one's just, it's smoother, it's noticeably smoother. So I'm really happy with this. 30 planks of balsa so I can finish my plane. And it smells like new fresh wood. And you know, this old balsa, I mean, it's still pliable, but this new stuff is much more pliable, you know, because it hasn't aged at all. I mean, I'm sure that they dry it out, you know, that they put it in like a wood kiln or something and dry it out. But I'm digging it. That's cool. All right. So now, you know, in between each, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with all of this, right? I mean, I don't have any real desire to build another balsa plane, but I needed to get more planks to be able to finish this one. So now I'll be able to build the webs, you know, I think they call them the center webs or something like that, that go between each one of the ribs. So they call them some kind of web. But with the balsa that I had left, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So now I'll be able to build those webs that go between each rib, and I'll be able to build off my dihedral block and build out, you know, all of the support area in the center of that center section of the wing. And I'll be able to do the sheeting on the top and get everything going. So this is cool, man. I'm happy. So now I can get the second wing finished. I'm a little bit excited about that. Now I know I told y'all last week, you know, kind of my plane, my strategy, right, of what my planes. Yes, the shear web, John VHR She. There we go, the shear web. So between every spar, there's a shear web, and that's all I'd have been able to do with the last sheet of balsa that I had. So we're going to get the shear webs made, the new dihedral offsets, and all of the rest of the internal structure of the wing built, get the top spar in place, get the outer skin on it, get the servo mounted, and get the wings put together. Hopefully we'll have all that done before next week so we can show you a completed wing assembly. So right now, I got one wing that's not quite ready for covering because I still have to glue on the leading edge of the wing. So the leading edge of the wing is a separate piece that I have to form, and the end cap, the wingtip, is just a block of wood that I'm gonna have to, whittle with a whittling knife, I guess. But we'll be able to get this wing done, and we'll be able to get the two wings put together, get the servo pocket mounted, get the wire run through, and get a couple of wings ready. Epoxy them things together, put our fiberglass wrap around the center. It's all, the vision is in my head. Y'all can't see it yet, but the vision is in my head. I'm gonna be whittling. The hair's not bad, man. I told you. She done did good. She done did good. Scottabot, it's plans. It is a kit. It's not like just straight plans, but they don't give you a lot of pre-cut parts either. Most of the parts, they give you just planks of balsa and templates. So the kit, it's a house of balsa, 20 size P51 Mustang, and the kit was gifted to me from Papa Boozer of the Mary Boozer RC fame. And, I don't think I realized how old the kit was when it was given to me, but this thing is probably old. Yeah, the visions in my head scare me, dude. So yeah, this kit was old. I wouldn't be surprised to find out if this kit was made in the 70s. The kit's probably as old as I am. It was probably purchased in the 70s or the 80s. Just judging by how the book was made, the fonts they used, the way that it's printed on the inside. It's almost like it's how they used to do newspapers on a printing press. They're using what is clearly typewriter font. So it looks like this was all put together with typewriter and sent to an old print press. And they just did what the folks, what the print press just printed it, based on what they got, right? So it's definitely an old kit that I am converting to electric. I originally had considered going with a gas motor, and I was really going to go in that direction at first. But, now that I'm building it and I know kind of what I want it to look like, I have a better idea of what I want out of the plane. So, you know, there's a few things that I'm going to be omitting from the design. One of them being putting any kind of wheels on it. I'm going to have it set up as a belly lander. And so I'm not going to put the tail wheel on. I'm not going to put the main wheels on because I kind of don't want them to be down all the time. You know, that's weird. I don't want to just have wheels hanging down. So I'm just not going to put the wheels on. I added the blocks to put the wheels on, but I'm not going to. I mean, I just consider that extra reinforcement in the wing now, right? I'm not putting them on. Not putting on the tail wheel, not putting on the front wheels. So we're going to lose a little bit of weight by not doing that. And I'm not going to install the scoop on the bottom. So we're going to shave off the scoop. I might do like a crop top turtle deck, you know, like the Reno Racer type Mustangs. So that's the plan, is to turn it into more of a racer plane, or ricer plane. I mean, it's going to be electric, right? So it's not going to have a gas motor. So we're going to turn it into a racer plane. It might only survive one flight, but it's a little bit bigger than a V900. But I also think that at the end of the day, when it's done being built, it's going to be a little bit lighter than a V900 too. So I do believe that the V900 power system is going to work fantastic in this little plane. And we're going to put either an 8.8 or a 9.9 prop on it. And we're going full send. And we're taking this baby to the moon. It's probably going to just disintegrate in midair. But you know, one of the things that I've mentioned it before, and I'll say it again. One of the things that I've been pretty impressed with about this whole balsa building process, you know, because this is my first time doing a balsa build. One of the things that I've been pretty impressed with is how sturdy this flimsy wood becomes, you know, when you start building out that structure. So even though, you know, we have this wing here that's extremely lightweight, I mean, this thing, who knows how much, I mean, this is lightweight. It's really strong. You know, I don't see there being, as long as I do that center joint right, I don't see this thing like flexing hardly at all. I mean, it is rigid, shockingly so. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting at least the wings together. So we got yeah, you hear them, man? The little micro Dobermans are coming on. Yeah, I already tried a V1200 power system in a plane roughly this size, and that did not go well. So we're going to go with the V900 power system now, and I think that that's going to work out much better for us. You know, and I think the fuse is big enough where, and I mean, I have the flexibility because I'm going to put the balsa, I'm going to put the servos, like I've got some 9-gram Metal Gear digital servos from Freewing that I'm going to put in the back of the plane for the, come on y'all, help me out, for the elevator and the rudder. So we're not going to have any control rods going through the fuselage. And that's going to open up a lot of space, you know, inside the fuselage, where in this plane, the design is to be able to hold a fuel tank, I mean, I'm going to be able to build a battery compartment where I can really have a lot of flexibility of movement of where I want that battery to sit. So, uh, I mean, that's cool, to be able to have that much flexibility, and with 30 freaking sheets of 16-inch balsa. Oh, Scott, dude, that's awesome. That's right. Right, so that ain't that that's probably not far from the truth. Yep. So with these 30 planks of 16-inch balsa, I may fully sheet the fuse, and I don't know that it's engineered into the plans to be fully sheeted, and that's okay. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it, and I think it's gonna be awesome. Yep, and then we're just not installing the scoop on the bottom because it's gonna be a belly lander. So I kind of want the bottom to be as clean as it can be. I get that scoop out of there. So, I mean, I really don't care that it doesn't look just like a Mustang at the end. Who cares? After we cover it, it's going to be cool. Michael Bear, I don't think so, man. I don't know how accurate a statement that is. And the reason I say that, right, is because I don't plan on throwing it at full throttle, right? I mean, the plane, I'm sitting here looking at the drawings, the plane is going to be this long, right? So I'm going to be able to sling it out there pretty good. In my experience with the V900, hand launching the V900 was extremely easy. You get it surprisingly doesn't pull on you, because by the time you're letting it go, the motor's already spun up, and it's going. So you toss the thing, and I always use safe, and like I toss the plane with it in safe mode, and I've got a little bit of elevator in the throttle when it's in safe mode, so it's going to want to go up, and I think that the ailerons are going to have plenty of authority to get this thing moving. And here's the thing, I haven't cut the ailerons yet. So once I get to the point where I'm ready to cut the ailerons, it doesn't have flaps. So the ailerons are going to be small. The ailerons are only going to be about an inch long, but the V900 ailerons weren't that big either. And I may make the ailerons a little bit longer in the wing, but I don't want to go too long, right? Because if this thing's going to be a go-fast plane, I really don't want like a huge amount of throw in the ailerons. So yeah, I'm just not feeling the landing gear, man. I don't think it needs it. Which is crazy. I mean, maybe I'm maybe I'm insane for trying to make it a hand toss plane right out of the gate, but I think it's going to be okay. It's very similar in size. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be very similar in size, in weight to the V900. I'm not that worried about it. If it wrecks, man. It's cool. Yeah, it's going to look silly with fixed landing gear. Bungee launch? I mean, hell, I've got big enough planes that'll probably I could strap this thing to the bottom and just drop the plane like a bomb. I'll get the big HSD 182. and just tie this plane to the top or something. Mike Bird, how you doing? Matt M, good to see you guys. George Watts, good to see you, sir. Michael Bear, I really appreciate that. It wouldn't be the first time, man. It wouldn't be the first time that all my hard work has crashed on the first flight. But yeah, it's nothing new. And I think this thing's tough. We'll see. It's wanting you to do blind nuts and stuff like that. I think I'm just going to epoxy the wings on. They're not going to be removable. We're going to make this thing into a go fast plane. That's what I want. It's going to be a go fast. It's going to be go fast plane. I mean, there's a few key elements that I must get right. The rudder must move in the right direction. The elevators must move in the right direction. And the ailerons must move in the right directions. And outside of that, I think this thing's going to be badass. I think it's going to fly good. What could possibly go wrong? My lovely wife, Amy, in the room. Everybody say hi. That is true. That is true. And I've thought about that too. About just not putting the rudder on at all. Just keeping the rudder as like the vertical stab as one piece and just turning this into like a classic toss and boss machine. So, Scottabot, what is it about gluing the wings in that's a bad idea? Did I lose sound? No, the sound's still good. Yeah, I mean, it's not a very long wingspan. It's like, I mean, the V900 I glued the wings in and it was great. A lot of like my 1300 foam planes I glue the wings in. Like all the Dynam planes, they have the really crappy screws to hold the wings in the first place. They give you like the really thin screws that are like just terrible. I always glue those in, and I've never had a problem gluing the wings onto a plane. So I'm just kind of curious, what why would I elect to not glue the wings in and go with like a blind nut type of situation? I mean, here's the thing. I feel like if I ever need to unglue the wing, that the plane will be so damaged that it's probably just going to go in the dumpster anyway. Yeah, I mean, that's true. You're not really doing like negative G's, right? So, I mean, they probably would be fine just just bolted in. It really depends on how much, because the thing with like the Dynam wings is they flex a lot. But I think if the wing is one piece, and it will be, where it's epoxied together in the center, and I've got the fiberglass around the center to kind of, double up the amount of reinforcement that I have holding two wings together. I think with all that, I'm not going to be too worried about the wings just moving around. So maybe it'll be all right. We'll see. We'll see. I have to evaluate that when I get to that point in the build. Whether or not I want to go through the process of gluing the wing in, or I'm going to go with the factory drawings. Yeah, I don't know that I need carbon fiber in the wings, dude. I mean, like I said, that thing is tough. This, this is tough. I mean, I'm not gonna like intentionally, start breaking it on purpose, but I mean, when you think about like the pressures of airflow and things like that, and the forces that are exerted on a wing, that cause it to try to flex. I mean, I don't see this thing having any problems at all on a plane that can get up to 100, 110, 120 miles an hour. Yeah, Nate. I mean, it really doesn't matter if it's got carbon fiber spars in it or not. Here's the thing. When I wreck it, it's going to just annihilate. And the carbon spars were going to destroy themselves too. So, George, I'm glad you said that, right? Because all they give you in the kit is like a little thin piece of fiberglass to wrap around the center of the wing. I don't know where it is. I used to have it over here. Yeah, it's only like a 1-inch thick piece of fiberglass that they give you to wrap around the center of the wing, which I think is awfully skinny. That's an awfully small piece of fiberglass. So I have been kind of skeptical about that myself. I think that it needs to be a thicker piece of fiberglass. Like that's all they give you, like this little bitty ribbon. So I would rather do something thicker, like you were saying. 2.5 inch, ribbon of fiberglass sheet, and then I really think like, that thing ain't coming apart. Heck no. No, man, I've got this. Come on now. No, I'm not still working on just one wing. I got 1.5 now. Yeah, so you think that like the 1-inch strip of fiberglass in the center, that's enough? Or do you think that I should go with a thicker piece down the center? Now, I'll tell you one area where I made a little bit of a mistake. And it's okay, I can fix it. But I made it where the servo wire comes out really close to the middle because I just wasn't thinking about that fiberglass strip being there. So, George, wouldn't you? I'm thinking like I should epoxy the wings together first. and get everything straight, get it clamped, get it like to set up overnight or whatever, however long it takes, I mean, I'll probably let it sit overnight, but get a couple of clamps, glue the wings together, make sure everything is Guten tight, and then sand it where any epoxy may have come up. Of course, as I'm squeezing it together with the clamps, I'm probably gonna, be wiping it down anyway, but let it set up and then sand it. There's a couple of areas that I have to sand flat anyway on the leading edge and the trailing edge of the wing. But once I do that, I think that's the time to put the fiberglass on, right? Don't you do the fiberglass after you? There you go. Yeah, I'm like, Yeah, I put the whole plane together with CA. The only time that I did not use CA, and it's because I just didn't want it to set up that quick. The first step in the wing process, right, is gluing the bottom spar onto the lower front portion of the wing skin. And for that, I used some Titebond wood glue. Good stuff. And I've used Titebond wood glue in the past for gluing wood together, and that shit don't come apart. Like, you may be able to break it, but it's not going to break at the glue joint. That glue joint is strong as shit. So I am, not worried about the places where I use Titebond in this thing. Like, that stuff is good. Check 6, I'm not that worried about the tail weight, man. I think that, I'll balance it out when we get there, but I'm going to have enough room to move that battery around because I'm not going to have any servos in the fuse. Any servos that I'm going to use are going in the fuselage in the back of the plane. So no servos in the fuselage. In the center of the fuselage anyway, like under the canopy, so I haven't really decided where I want to put the battery hatch yet, but depending on where the motor is, I mean, I'm going to have enough room to move that battery where I don't think I need to put any weight anywhere, any weight that's going to be just dead weight. Snow Valley. That's funny. I'll have these two wings ready to glue together before the next show, before next week. We will have these two wings ready to epoxy together. In fact, we may wait. That may be what we do on the next show, is epoxy the wings together. It'll be fun. Yeah, so I'm not seeing anything, Mark, that would suggest that the connection is bad. I'm seeing that I am broadcasting out at 30 frames a second, 1080p footage that I've got, let's see. Yeah, 3,500 kilobits a second. And audio transmissions are looking good. Everything's in the clear. Blah. Gross. Cool, George. All right. What would have been wrong with Nate? Man. So, yeah, I mean, that's something to think about. do I use the 1 inch strip of fiberglass, or do I get something thicker? I'll definitely take that into account, when I'm making that decision of, all right, it's time to wrap the like fiberglass around the center. What am I going to use? And the other part is, do I just use fiberglass resin, or do I mix up some 30-minute epoxy? And I just don't know which one is the better option there. Like fiberglass resin, I think would work just as well as using epoxy, because it is epoxy. You just have more play time. It's like 1 hour epoxy. See you, Mark. Have a good night, bud. Jamaican jerk chicken. Jamaican me crazy, man. Craig Beaven, I have no idea. It's what came in the kit. Yep. It's what came in the kit. Yeah, fiberglass resin does stink awful. I have worked with it many, many times in the past, and it smells bad. Real bad. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's really thin fiber. The fiber. It's very thin fiberglass. So I can't imagine that it's a very heavy duty. I mean, it's very thin, very flexible. It's not like the big, thick sheets like you would, lay down fiberglass for a boat hull or anything like that. Yeah, very thin stuff. In fact, I mean, I kind of wish that I knew what size this was, because this would be really good stuff to like if I had a whole big sheet of it, I would probably use this type of fiberglass to put a fiberglass, like basically do a composite shell around the entire wing. Yeah, Michael Bear, dude, it really does, man. CA on the fiberglass. That's interesting. So you don't use you don't put down any like any kind of epoxy, no kind of resin based adhesive? Hmm. You ate some Jamaican jerk chicken once off the side of the road from a metal barrel grill in Jamaica. Boss 223, can you get really thin fiberglass at boat stores though? Because if I could find, really thin fiberglass like this in big sheets that would be big enough to cover the whole wing, like I said, I would probably be inclined to do like instead of covering the plane with monocoat, cover the plane in fiberglass, just basically do like a very thin composite shell over the whole plane. And then paint it with primer, sand it down, get it real glass smooth, and rather than trying to do the graphics that I want in crap. With monocoat, I could do just paint, which would be way easy. A surfboard supply store. That's probably a good place. It's just very thin fiberglass. You're right. I'm sure that I could add a lot of weight glassing the plane, but I do know what I'm doing. Like I am pretty good with fiberglass, believe it or not, techie geek Dave. I used to do a lot of fiberglass work. So, and the fact that the wings are fully sheeted really kind of plays into that too, because you're not going to get a lot of soak through. You can like squeegee off most of the resin where it's going to dry really hard. And then you just sand it down. So you're really, the amount of weight that you're adding is very negligible. If you can pull most of the fiberglass or most of the resin out of it, where the only resin that's left is what's on the fiberglass itself, and enough to to bond it to the wood, that is perfect. And then you can lay down the primer, sand it smooth, and now you're like painting a car. But you could get like an awesome, and I guess that's what what a lot of the composite planes are out there, right? Augured in. I may check that out. Silk and dope. I've never used the old dope, but does that dry? Is that like a bonding agent? Is 1 ounce fiberglass cloth super, super thin? But will silk and dope harden the way fiberglass hardens? I don't know. I've never worked with the dope before. So anyway, it's getting to that 1 hour point. It's getting to be right around 10 o'clock. Oh my God. I have made it. I have made it to the big time. I am getting spam during my live stream. Woo! I have made it to the big time. There are people putting sex ads during my show. Like, this is it, dude. I am done. Yeah, and the only reason that I'm like even remotely skeptical about the silk and dope method, because I've never done it before, is because I have done fiberglass before, and fiberglass is pretty easy to work with if you don't screw it up. So I'm pretty sure that I can lay down fiberglass without adding a ton of weight to the plane. And I know what I would end up with. Is the silken dope, is it sandable? Like after it dries up and everything is done and I got everything the way I need it to be, is it a sandable surface where I can sand it smooth and then kind of do the same thing that I want to do? Because I think if I can get it to a point where I can paint the plane um, with, like automotive based paints, that'd be awesome. It bonds and shrinks. I got to figure that out. I got to figure that out. And guys, I know paint is heavy, but we're talking negligible weight, right? I mean, we're already going to save a lot of weight by not going gas, right? By going electric, we're already saving a ton of weight. I mean, this thing was designed, if you think about like the weight of a standard servo compared to the weight of a 9-gram servo, that is substantial. If you think about the difference between the weight of a nitro motor compared to electric, there's a difference. The weight of a 4S battery, like a 4S 2200 battery, which will be plenty to get this thing going for a good 5 minutes, compared to a full gas tank. I really don't know that. And there's several components on the plane that I am not installing, right? So it's not going to have the landing gear. It's not going to have the tail wheel. It's not going to have the scoop on the bottom, classic P-47 style. The scoop won't be there. So, there's several elements of the plane where I'm going to be saving enough weight that I think I can get away with adding a little bit of paint. Now, I'm not talking like enamels, like you would see in a can. We're not doing rattle cans, dude. We're going to airbrush the thing. But if I can airbrush it with, well, I mean, it really doesn't matter whether I use like automotive paints, acrylic paints. The airbrush paints that I use are very good. So, like the Vallejo and stuff like that. I just think that being able to paint it would offer me a little bit better, like better surfaces to work with. If I can, I like it. I like the idea of doing it. And I know I'm stubborn, right? Like, oh, this guy's going to fuck that up. I get it. I get it. I just keep getting more ideas. And, how else do you learn? Let me do what I want, punks. I know that the iron-on covering is going to be the best way to go. I know. And I guess if I did it the other way around, if I just did white and then I did white on the bottom and red on the top, just covering, and then, got some black and like stretched it all the way out and just cut like little various different size stripes, I could still pull off the Van Halen look. It'd still be cool. All right. So I'd love to talk about this with some of you old Balsa folks and what we're going to do, because it's Friday night and I don't want to keep some of you all night. because, I mean, people are ready to start the weekend. But for those of you that want to get your weekend started by talking about RC, feel free to join me. We are going to be firing up a Zoom session where you can come and join us face to face, my mouth directly in your ear hole, and you can actually talk back. You don't have to turn on your camera, but we can come and jam and talk about building balsa, or really whatever you want. And just to be honest, the airplane discussion only lasts for maybe the first 10 minutes of the Zoom, and then it just gets so sidetracked, we start talking about like all kinds of crap. And no topic is off limits. You've been warned. There is nastiness, there's cursing, there is people talking about things that are disgusting. And when I say disgusting, I'm not talking about farts. I'm talking about things that would make your mama embarrassed. It gets crazy, right? So feel free to come and join us. It's always a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and fire up the Zoom session. I'm going to put the link in the chat. So if you want to join us, please do. It's always fun and everybody's invited. So let me fire up my Zoom session. And you know, it's funny, all the people that are in here right now that have been in the Zoom before are like, he ain't lying, dude. The Zooms get nasty. The Zooms get gross. All right, there is the link to the Zoom session. So if you guys, the Zoom is open, everybody's free to join. You do not have any kind of, you don't have to sign up for nothing. You might have to download an app, but I don't think you need to be authenticated. You can just jump on in, join us, have a good time. Woo! I'm getting a little tired. It's been a long day. There's live farts. You know, sometimes people are getting their hair cut and not always the hair on their head. I mean, it gets crazy, man. It's a good time always. So come and join us. Otherwise, I want everybody here to have a fantastic week, and we will see you all again next Friday. I mean, I know that everybody just saw the Zoom link, but I'm going to post it one more time. And if you enjoy what you're seeing here and you're not already a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Every now and then we're posting new videos. We haven't been very active lately with the new videos thing, but we have the live show almost every week. And here in 3 weeks, we're going to be doing that F-16 on the, right over here. Yeah, that's it. That's F-16. And we got the baddest F-18 there is. I mean, that thing is just hot. Anyway, guys, I love y'all. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. We will see everybody here for show 102 next week. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next Friday. Good night.